Hello everyone, and let's talk about How to Stop Time by Matt Haig. This is a standalone book, and this was told in first person. This is, as I said, a standalone. This is an adult, and it is a fantasy historical fiction with a touch of sci-fi. This, as I said, is written by Matt Haig. He has other books that are out. This was the selection for Autism Reads for one of these months. This was the adult selection because Matt Haig I did find that it is confirmed that he is on the autism spectrum. So what is this book about? For this one, we are following Tom. Tom has this rare genetic condition. I don't want to call it a disease because it's not that. It's a genetic condition so that he ages like everyone else up until a certain point, and then his biological clock really slows down. So in other words, when he technically should be 90 years old, he might still look like he's 15. And he can look like 15 for a couple hundred years, and then he may end up looking at some point like he's 20 years old when he's really 600 years old. So it really slows down. He's not immortal. He is immune from getting colds and other sicknesses like that. But eventually his clock will start to resume, and he will start to get sick, and he will start to show his age. I mean, he can look like he's 80 but really be 900 years old, that type of a situation. And one of the rules, he is recruited into this albatross society, which is all people with the same condition. And one of the rules is to never fall in love. He did fall in love, and that relationship did result in them having a child. He believes this child, who is his daughter, has this same condition, so he is looking for her. This albatross society that he is working for, the head of this society has promised that they are helping him look for his child. But then there are some things that are said from various people, and he is starting to notice that he's wondering if he can fully trust what is being said. He does make some friends along the way of people that have the same condition. The downside with falling in love is that other people, for the most part, will grow old, and you have to watch them grow old and die. Well, you pretty much stay frozen in time for the most part. So he's working for this albatross society. When we are following him, this has kind of two timelines. Their modern day timeline, he is in London, and he is a history teacher. He is prone to getting these migraines or these headaches when he is really starting to have flashbacks of what his life was like hundreds of years ago. He did, his mom was tried as a witch, so he grew up during a time where women who were accused of being different were accused of being witches and then were tried. So it's like if you drown, you were innocent, but if you float to the surface of the water, you're a witch, and then you're killed anyway. So women that are different just couldn't win. So his mother was accused of being a witch, and so we have these flashbacks where we're following him as he grows older. So this time where he's watching his mother die, and then at this one point where he's falling in love, and then other points throughout various times in his life. And so that's all it is. So during this time, in the modern time when he's a history teacher, there's this girl that looks at him and is like, I know you, I recognize you, and she is a fellow teacher. And she's starting to put pieces of the puzzle together, and he's like, no, we haven't. Maybe I look like someone you used to know or recognize, but she's insistent. And you're following as he's starting to maybe give himself permission to fall in love again and experience certain feelings. And this person that he's starting to have feelings for, sorting and shifting through lies that he says to protect himself in this society, and things like that. So it was a very sweet story. As far as your representation, you have epilepsy representation in this. I have not read a book that has epilepsy reference in this, and there is a point in this where one of the characters, significant side characters in this, does have a seizure on page, so do be aware of that. As far as other representation, you do have LGBT mentioned. There is a female-female relationship mentioned, and I have a note saying that it was when it was very dangerous, and all of this had to be hush-hush. So just something to be aware of that. So any other representation is going to be up to your imagination. Now, let's get into your content in your trigger warnings. You have suicidal ideation as well as loss of a loved one, and you are experiencing the death and loss of a loved one a couple of times over, as that does happen as you have this same condition that Tom has in this book. And hence why they do advise do not fall in love, because you're just going to have your heart broken several times. So that's your content and your trigger warnings. And now, in case you're still on the fence, let's get into the words and see if any of them pass your threshold of what you're able to tolerate. We have the word God 12 times used in religious context, but this is not a religious novel, but it is used in religious context. We have the word shit 23 times, piss 6, the word Lord twice used religiously, fuck 25, the word God 9 times, not religious, more mythological use, orgasm once, the name Jesus once used religiously, arse 3, cunt 2, hell 6, wench once, cock once, bulge once, prick once, prude once, the word God once, not in a religious context, dickhead once, penis twice, erection once, whorehouse once, suicide once, the name Jesus 3 times, not religious, the name Christ once, not religious, bastard once, damn once, motherfucker 12 times, breast once, and bullshit once. As far as your setting on this, at times he mentions living in America, but the modern time he is in London, and there is a time where he goes and visits Australia. So you're kind of over a couple of different continents on this as well. And I should also say, when it reflects back in the olden times, when he is more like 15 years old, like his actual age, this is at a time where there's a lot of sexism, which was very commonplace back when he was a child. So where women were basically to be seen and not heard type of a situation, and were only good for making babies and raising the children and domestic stuff. So just be aware of that, little commentary on that. But that is it. That's your word usage, your content, and your representation. I do have a couple of things highlighted I did want to say just real quick. I highlighted, the longer you live, the more you realize that nothing is fixed. Everyone will become a refugee if they live long enough. Everyone would realize their nationality means little in the long run. Everyone would see the worldviews challenged and disproved. Everyone would realize that the thing that defines a human being is being a human. Let's see. I'm not going to tell you everything that I've underlined, but just a couple of things. The past resides in the present, repeating, hiccuping, reminding you of all the stuff that no longer is. It bleeds out from road signs and plaques on park benches, and songs and surnames and faces and the covers of books. We aren't just who we are born. We are who we become. We are what life does to us. And last thing to end this on is, if I can find it, I don't want to read the conversation with the author. I want to read an about the author. I know there's going to be an about the author. Every book has an about the author. Acknowledgements. Matt Haig is the author of 2 memoirs, Notes on a Nervous Planet and the internationally best-selling Reasons to Stay Alive, along with 6 novels, including the New York Times bestseller, The Midnight Library. I did read that and I did like that. Let's see. He has several award-winning children's books. Haig's most recent title, The Comfort Book, was released by Penguin Books in 2021. His work has been translated into more than 30 languages. So that is it. So that is How to Stop Time by Matt Haig. Let me know, have you read this book? Is this one that you might be interested in reading? Or knowing what is contained in this, is this not for you? Let me know. Talk to me in the comment section below. And until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book, and I will talk to you later.